Hello everyone. We are getting this podcast on YouTube for you after a very long time. I'm sure this time would have been difficult for most of you working or studying at home and keeping yourself energetic in this current situation when so much negative informations are flowing around all of us. We hope that you all are safe at this difficult time. Today we are going to talk about a different technology for which many of you have shown your interest and have also asked us to cover this on any video or audio podcast. So here you go. We are going to talk about this course first time in public domain. Though we are running this course successfully now or for some time. This is Selenium and automation testing. We have Sunil sir with us to discuss more about this topic. Sunil sir have very long and detailed experience in automation testing. We will also like to address few important aspects of this course and industry as a whole. Sunil, can you please elaborate a bit on your experience, types of projects you have handled in past and what all you are putting in this course?
Sure. Thank you, hello guys. So this is Sunil. Like my entire career went into the QA and then automation and then product analysis and designing. So I have pretty much like in an average of 13 years of experience into this software industry, but that consists of more into the product side at the beginning, because the automation like back in 2007 or 8, if you will see, there was not much into the automation testing. It was more into the product testing actually. But because we have now developed with complicated products and then with the applications, then now the need of the actual automation testing now came into the picture. So that's where actually I personally started learning the automation journey. And then so back in those days we used to have the QTP for desktop applications, because 10 years back, if you see, the web application was there, but it was not much into the automation sector. So but like most of the people were into the pure automation testing. But nowadays, because we are talking mostly into the automation, so I can just tell my journey, like how I started automation testing and where I am at this moment. So I starting from the QTP. It was a standalone application testing. So it was mostly into the Windows application testing. And then that's where, so we had few challenges in the QTP, because it was first thing is that it was a paid application or paid tool, and then it was limited with respect to the programming language. So it was back in those days, it was supporting either C# or VB script. I think most of the people, most of you might not be even knowing about VB script, but it was a system admin scripting language, like we have Java scripting. So that went well actually. So it was like for a decade it was sustaining into the market. But that's where actually the web application came into more focus actually. And then people tend to like lose the QTP interest, because most of the organization, they migrated the desktop application to web application, because again the internet was like booming back in like 6, 7 or 10 years back. And then web application came into the picture, and then that's where the handheld devices like your tablets, your mobile devices came into the picture. So then the web application now dominated the desktop application. So that's where actually Selenium came as a hotcake in the market. And like it was back in those days also, it was supporting multiple languages. So it was helping even the developers as well, like those who are into the developer sector, like those who know C# or Java or JavaScript even, or even Python. So all those language folks, they came into this particular automation tool, they supported, and then to the community they have put their effort and made that as a good automation tool. So back these days, if you hear mostly like any automation testing, then the first name it is coming to our front is that is Selenium. So that's where I started learning Selenium. and then I was most familiar with Java because my mind was more into the Java. So I thought, and the community is also more. If you see, I think in the world, any devices that you will see, the majority of the devices are now built some or other way. It was built on Java. So that's where actually Java came into my mind, and then we have started. And then eventually from there, like, because as I told, after web application, now what is the next thing? Actually now we are seeing, like, everybody, like those who are like big, small, any person, if you see, they are having the handheld devices or the mobile devices, tablets. So that's where actually the mobile application testing came into the picture. Because if you will see now, most of the people now, they are more relying on the mobile rather than even the laptops, because it is more portable. And now, the if you see, everywhere you're getting 3G, 4G, and anything you can see. So they say, right, now there is nothing that you can do with mobile. So that's where mobile application testing came into the picture. And then the one tool that comes to our mind is the Appium. So Appium, with, again, it is based on the Selenium automation tool or library. So they took the Selenium library and then they have enhanced that and added few of the features, and that's where the Appium mobile automation testing came into the picture. And all these languages which we are discussing now, these are cross-platform except the C Sharp. But now, if you see, the Microsoft is surprisingly is coming into the open source market. That's where you will see .NET Core, and then you will see Visual Studio Code, that is one of the open source from Microsoft. And then Microsoft got the GitHub, right, one of the good source control tool, or I can say one of the open source. So that's where now the market is. If you see, everywhere it is the open source market, means everybody, those who know, they will contribute, those who don't know, they will leverage the contribution whatever these people are giving. So that's where actually it motivated me every time to learn different things. And this is pretty much my journey across my life, starting from the product knowledge to manual testing to automation testing.
Thanks, Sunil. You have given a very good explanation about your complete Selenium and different areas of, you can say, the testing and automation testing and mobile testing, something sort of that, right? But in general, see, nowadays everyone is aware about the, like, what sort of testing courses are there, whether it is an uh, web testing or something called as an API testing, mobile testing, number of
Sure.
testing, manual testing, number of different types of courses which is people are doing and searching the job on the basis of that. But the major problem, what we have seen in the few of the areas, Sunil, the one major problem is the students, those who have completed their MCA, BTech, something they have completed, right? And after
Right.
completing these all things, they have not been in any company, or maybe from the college side, they haven't placed in a good company, they haven't got a good job.
Sure.
Then after, what happens is some of them got diverted to some other, because after completing its BTech from a different branches, what happens is they started preparing for gate examination. And especially when you see in the North India, uh,
Right.
people are giving much and much preference to government jobs itself, right? So
Civil
what they will do
services,
is
yes.
they will be keep on focusing for 6 to 7 years, you can say, for the government jobs. And eventually
Yeah.
what happens, if they have not been selected in that, what happens is, like, they don't have any options left which they can get into the software industry. Means,
Sure.
I mean to say that is, software industry means there are different fields, different departments are there in the software industry. But generally what happens in software industry, people needs the knowledge, and
Yes.
that sort of knowledge, by preparing after the government exams or something like that, they don't have the technical knowledge, right? That is one. But
Yeah.
we used to get that sort of requirement also, that they don't, it doesn't matter itself whether the student is having a long year gap after completing BTech or whatever they have done. Just the companies need is the knowledge. If they have a
Right.
good knowledge, if they have something good knowledge about that corresponding technology, they have done certain projects, and if they can work independently in their companies, so they used to give the chance, they used to give the preference to them, right? So
Right.
in this matter, and one more thing is there, Like few of the students, what happens is from the college itself, they will get the job in some small companies or some big companies also. And there, what
Yeah.
happens? Companies are giving some manual automation, manual testing work, and then after they are on bench.
Right.
And what happens that initially when the student gets the job, they won't be learning a lot,
Right.
and in this itself they will be on bench for a long time, let's say for a 6 months or a 1 year. And eventually what happens that suddenly they will start feeling like, no, I don't have any work in company. And even your manager or somebody, they will also start feeling like, okay, he's not having any job, let's ask him to leave the company, right?
Right.
So what we feel is like there is a very huge gap of upgrading, like they are not upgrading themselves, right?
Right.
But those who are there in working in any company, whether they have a project or they are on bench or they are on some manual project or something like that, they will be feeling that I need not to learn anything. And even if they are thinking that if I will learn also, if I'm joining some online classes also or something they're joining, so I'll be not able to learn the real time things. So can you tell in all this scenario, like what all the industry related things which we will be learning, which is generally not being covered by the institutes or any online training, and
Right.
how they can move their means from manual or from their bench, like they can switch to some another job in a good automation testing project or something like that. So how they can do all these things? So can you explain about the important topics, not explanation, just you can name it out, that what things we will be discussing in our course, which in general any companies will be looking for, in any interviews they will be looking for, in any project eventually. Without that you won't be able to do the project itself. So please explain about that, Sunil.
Sure. So I think one of the main thing that you have mentioned is that most of the people, those who are they started the job, but they fortunately or unfortunately they went into the manual testing, and then few of the non-technical, like you pointed about the few of the people, those who are going to the civil services, but for long time they are not what do you call going either way of that.
Right,
So
right,
now
right.
coming to this software testing, actually the first and foremost thing. Now let's talk about this non-technical stuff. So they have to choose a particular language if they are interested to come into the automation or software testing. The first thing they need to do is that they need to first understand what is the software testing market is, like what is that it is currently running. So the first and foremost thing, like as I told, now every tool that you will see, they are supporting with different languages. The only language that we need to choose is that is open source, like freely available, and the community, where the community is more, that's where actually they will put more effort to the tool. Now
And
if I tell, yeah,
I'll just interrupt in between. uh,
sure.
there is again a very big question nowadays, like
Hmm.
whether we should choose either Java based Selenium or it is Python based, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I hope you will be covering this also, like what is the market
Sure.
of Python-based Selenium as well as Java-based Selenium, because we do the both.
Sure.
Java-based Selenium also
Right.
we are doing, and Python-based Selenium also we are doing.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Definitely, I will come to this one. But the reason why I put more effort to the Java is that if you see the development market in like in entirety, if you see the development, like any of the web application development, they mostly do in Java or else in the .NET sector. Now, why Python is coming into the picture? So because nowadays what is happening, Python evolved a lot actually with its what do you call different formats they are giving and each way of writing all those things. Again, it is always a debatable, like whether I should choose Java or Python,
Right,
but
right,
I would
correct.
say that both are going in a parallel actually. So there is nothing wrong, like I can say that blindly I can just put any of the language and I can go with that. Why I said Java? Because the community is more actually. And because the development language more now, if you see, like if I tell a development language, I mean most people they will prefer mostly into the Java rather than Python actually. That is the one point somewhere like in my mind is stick to the Java. But still nowadays, like if you see, like with my Selenium experience this past 5 or 6 years, the Python evolved a lot actually, because most of the developers are now coming into the picture. They are saying, okay, why not to this Python testing tool community we can contribute it. So now it is always like you can choose anything actually. Or else if you are not sure, I mean let's say that there is a blank, one person is coming and they want to choose, I can say that you can first pitch into this Java, start the Java, like the core Java, like which is like 10, 15, 20 days, whatever the tutorial goes, just pitch into that. Simultaneously I would say that you will even learn another language. There is nothing wrong to learn again another language. That could be again another 15 days. Then what will happen, you will have two profiles now in your mind. You will say that even I have knowledge into the Java, and there are, I will say, so much overlapping between Java and Python. The only difference is that the way these both languages
Obviously,
handle this
obviously.
stuff in different way. Yeah. So I mean that stuff is over. Now let's come to this. Now what is the next step they will do? Okay, now they have understood the what do you call the language. Now I'm talking about non-technical. Now they will choose one of the tool. Because Selenium is mostly widely using people, I would say that choose Selenium first. I'll come to different tools also further. Now Selenium they will choose. See, what is that automation testing we do? Basically, we are like automating the user actions. Whatever a person manually can do in the browser, that we have to automate it. Fine. Now let's say that like I'm telling that okay, now you go with Selenium. Now that person now went into the Selenium. The next thing is that what about other tools? The another question like Java and Python, there might be another question will come. What if I mean, is that only Selenium is the king in the market? Any other tools are there? Definitely there are other tools are there, like we have Protractor is there, and then we have Cypress is there. But the thing is that you have to start somewhere actually. Like okay, now in the market even JavaScript, TypeScript is there. It doesn't mean that I will be going with Java and then Python and then TypeScript and then Ruby also I will learn. That in reality it won't work out. So that's why I said that choose a specific language, maybe Java, and then Python would be easy for us. Now the next thing is that I would say that okay, choose Selenium. That's my personal opinion. Now choose Selenium, like a month, like 20 to 30 hours of that, whatever that duration. Now once you are familiar with the Selenium, I'm not saying that you will be become expert in that, and while during this, like you will be now meeting with the different people. I'm just saying few of the what do you call the tricks that people normally do from the non-technical background. Now they will understand the Selenium. While doing that, the whoever is the coach is there, they will be telling about their own personal experience also throughout that duration. Like maybe let's say that you are teaching now Java. Now you will tell, okay, this is the current market, this is what it is happening, most people are using the latest version. So that's where they will gain few of the experiences, like theoretical experience out of that.
True, true.
Then what they will do, now if you see in the market there are few very much demo websites are coming into the picture, so everybody is doing that. Now what you can do, even you can choose any of the product. Let's say that I'm good with the some flight reservation sites. They will go to that, they will understand few of the controls. That's how they will get the knowledge. Because if you see any user specific applications, like you go with Amazon, you go with Flipkart, you can automate those things because those are on the latest technology, and what the usability does, they will be building that one. So that's where you will get a percentage of your product experience as well, like how exactly your browser looks like, how will I start my automation testing. And one of the important thing in the coaching, like one good point you mentioned at the beginning, that most, like if you see nowadays, like it's not even India, any market if you see, there are lots of different what do you call coaching institutes are there, online, offline, everything is there. The one that we need to look for, where it's not real-time project, but it's about the framework actually. In my, again, it is my personal opinion. That's where you
Right,
will
right.
understand what exactly the organizations are doing, because I cannot go to an organization and learn that as a non-tech person. So that's what you need to choose a particular institute who is focusing more into the framework designing, because the features like the Selenium features or else any of the tool that features, definitely you will be getting different YouTube videos, and then you will be seeing the blogs, or else even the that tool itself, they are now doing few of the documentation, like okay, these are the 1 to 10 the list of items that we are providing the feature. So they are doing themselves a kind of a promo. So from there you will get all the updates, but nobody is exactly giving that this is the framework that you need to maintain. That you will get from the experienced guy who ever built that one. So that is one of the area that you will be getting that. Now, so we are now come to the tool. Now the thing is that now let's come to the person who is recently on bench actually specific. Now whatever these things we just discussed is definitely 100% applicable to that person, but one added advantage to that person actually who already worked on that product as a manual testing or as a even BA also. So let's say one person who is just joined as a intern or as a fresher, they've given that, boss, you take this particular application and test it. Now one good benefit of that person is that he is getting the real time experience of that product. Now what he can do, definitely as I told, all these things like choosing a language, choosing a tool, and then learning that, maybe probably like it will take 1 to 2 months. And if that person is like on the bench, he can just spend a couple of like what you call money actually out of his pocket, and then he will learn that tool. Now what he need to do, he or she, they need not to now go to any demo websites. Why not that person can pitch into his own application, because he have that product knowledge. So the only thing is that he need to put a step forward and come out of the comfort zone, and then try to automate that particular application. So that's where actually he can give a kind of a POC to his like higher authority, whoever it is there. If by click, like let's say that it is got approved, he will get the real time experience then and there only. So instead of not learning these things, if he sit there and then will wait for that higher authority to give him that chance, why not he can take that advantage. So I can say +1 for that particular person who already did the manual testing. So I mean, that's basically my thought process for these two
Right,
kinds of
right, right.
persons.
And in this, especially, I'll add few more things.
Sure.
Especially those who are having means like you have completed your BTech BE, or maybe you are working in after completing your college or something like that. You are working in some other non-relevant fields just in order
Sure.
to get the job or just in order to work anything. Many are there. Many youngsters are those who are just coming out of the college. They are working in some BPO sector, or I'm not targeting any specific industry. All are
Right.
having its important role, but I'm saying that after completing your technical degree like MCA, BTech, BCA, or whatever sort of things you have done, just in the lack of guidance, if you're working in some other sector, so guys, what we will be doing with you is we will be just giving you a proper training with the complete project training. And after doing all these things, we will place you in a company with a good package. In that,
Yeah.
one thing which may take, I think, Sunil, because when you are covering the lot of topic for any particular course, so what happens, the very common problem is that the duration of that particular course. Let's say initially we are promising that okay, it will take around 3 months of time to complete the Selenium course, including core Java and all other latest tools like Cucumber, Jenkins, and number of things is there. But it may extend to 15-20 days more. Like in the COVID situations, there was no opening, no proper things were doing. So okay, that duration got extended. Those who were going for the placements, right? But what happens is, if you are properly preparing whatever things we are saying, whatever things our experts are saying, if you are following it, so at the end you will be having a good job. And good job in the sense is in a particular direction you will be having. Maybe
Right.
initially salary is bit less, right, Sunil? Uh,
Yeah, but the
Maybe instead of
experience matters,
30,000 you are
right?
getting 25,000. But
Yeah.
if you are in a proper direction, so that salary part, that money part could be recovered in a further stages. That is
True.
one major problem with the students, like those who are thinking to join the course or to planning. But in this, one more major issue is coming, Sunil. That
Yeah.
is generally when students are coming and for especially for the Selenium, because we do the same kind of problem in the Java full stack development, right? That okay, this
Right.
institute is taking some these many 4 months, 2 months, 3 months, and then they are giving the job guarantee things, right? But here
Yeah.
why you are taking 6 months, 7 months? Like the way in Selenium also you will find that the people are saying that okay, within 1 month or 20 days or 1.5 months, 45 days, we will be able to complete the Selenium course, right?
Yeah.
So here, guys, I think Sunil can explain it better. That if we are taking time, if we are taking time, so that is just because you should be having a good hands-on that particular technology. And if you are having good hands-on, then immediately you can start working in any company. Whatever the real-time things they are asking, you will be able to answer it. But if you are expecting from us content, then you need to give the time. Sunil, I think you can say something more about this.
Sure. I think you rightly mentioned about that experience thing, right? At the beginning, like as you said, because I always think that experience is the key. Because that's how you will learn different things. Like on the day first, you will not be learning about anything else. So first thing is that you need to find a proper way. Like where should I will be moving actually. So that is one thing, and doesn't matter what is the package you are getting at the beginning, because once you grasp all these things and then you will do your own learning, because learning never stops. Like if we will be train you everything and then we will be giving you all the details, but at the same time parallelly you will be learning different more things also. So experience is something that is more required. The second thing actually which you pointed out is the like how will we like going the content wise. So the more interaction you will do, there only you will see the real time experience actually. Like
Exactly, exactly.
okay, if it is chapter wise, let's say that if I have 1 to 10 chapter, because people will say that these are the exact points we will be telling you that. Now I already limited the timeline actually. Now how can I finish the few things, because few things might be people are not understanding, or they might have some doubts. So I think, like if I will be as a student, like if somebody will tell me that okay, instead of 1 month, you know that I will be taking 2 months. Now okay, now how would I believe? Because you see that structure, because within 1 month you will get that knowledge that how much this particular person is teaching me. And then the more you will do interaction with the students or with your coach or with any kind of, like as so mentioned that about the placements. Like if you are really looking into the placement, the only thing that you need to gain which is not written in the book, then how will you get it? You will be getting by more interaction with the coach or the like whoever the people are there with our organization. They will be teaching you few of the things. This is the market actually. These are the few of the organizations they are looking more into. Like as I told, if you join with Java and Selenium, so let's say that within 15 days, I mean after you completed everything, there is not much calls you're getting. I mean every one of us know that the corona how much it affected. Why not you will extend that to 15 to 20 days and then learn a different language, and that's where you will get more point. Because see, now Java with Selenium you got something. Now just choose, as I told, like we need not to be taking all the languages that is there in the market, but few of the languages, and you will gain more interaction. Because that's where only you will learn different things. Like as I told, how will you know that what exactly my organization is doing? You might not be knowing even, because my organization might not put into the publicly that okay, this is what this is the framework we are making, this is the like repository where I'm keeping all my code base, or this is the technology I'm keeping. So that is something you will be getting from by interacting with different people. So if you are a non-tech, you might be interacting with a technical person, maybe a manual testing person. Now this manual testing might be come up with something, this in my organization, this is what they are doing. How can I pitch myself into that? How can I find the opportunity within that? So you can have an interaction with the folks here, actually, those who are a bit more experienced. So I think the time is not the key. The like how much, what is the language or the tool is not the key, but how much you are learning and gaining the experience from that particular institute, that matters a lot.
True. And this is what even personally I say to the students, that guys, important thing is not about the duration of the course. Maybe we may take some 1 month, 1.5 month extra time as in compared to the other institute. But the thing is that what actual knowledge required, what you should have, the amount of practice which needs to be put it in that, if that all things is okay with you, then trust me, like another 15 days you can get the job if the call flow is good. But if you are not learning it properly, and even if you are searching for a 6 months of job, then you will not be able to get it, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
so this is one means major things. Now one more category is there, Sunil, out of this.
Mhm.
Another category is uh, people will come and they will say that I have completed the Selenium automation in every sort of tools, whatever we are discussing here, that they have already learned. But the thing is
Right.
that how what they are expecting is, I'll tell you, uh, they will ask like, okay, you boss, you are claiming that we will give you the job assurity, job guarantee, or something like that you are saying. So why don't you do one thing, that I have completed all this course, I know everything better manner, why don't you place me?
Yeah.
Getting it? So
Right.
can you explain about the see guys, if uh, uh, we are not saying that if you have learned everything, you know the Selenium, each and every concept, you know automation, different type of tools and everything, I'm saying, okay, we are expecting that you are good with the knowledge. So if you are good with the knowledge, you are not able to get into the properly in a company, so there must be some reason. Am I right, Sunil?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
So
I was about to say the same thing only.
right,
Yeah.
right. So uh, reason is mainly that you do not have the proper knowledge on hands-on knowledge on the project or something like that. That you have learned the tools, you have not learned the tools by doing it. That's where I believe it. There, that is one problem, right? Maybe if you know that by doing it, but you don't know how to explain it in interviews, right? So
Yeah.
guys, uh, we have a separate course also, that where we will be doing 3 to 4 projects on Selenium itself, which is in different areas of project, and we will not be teaching in that. So Sunil, can you please explain about this one?
Yeah, so one good point you mentioned, like one person is coming and they're saying that, okay, I learned everything. The only thing that I need, that I want to play somewhere. Now the
Right.
thing is that how much actually you learned? How will you say that you have completed this learning actually? So that is one of the biggest question everybody need to think about, that answer themselves actually. Okay, how much I learned? How will you know until you will put your head into that actually? So if you think that you learned something, but how about, like, one good point one point actually that I mentioned at the beginning while I started, is that how will you know that what is the latest trend? What is exactly the real time experiences one person is getting? You might not have got actually those things. Okay, definitely there are like couple of blogs are there, couple of YouTube videos are there that every one of us can see that and understand. But what is that you can understand? You can understand only the features only. It means that I always say this thing actually to everyone, those who are like coming to me and asking all these questions. I say that you guys know the dots actually, but how will you know that, how will you connect these dots? And that is something you cannot get anywhere. I mean, nobody is publicly putting that. Believe me that even like we write different things, but nobody will say that, okay boss, now you learned all these things like as a chapter wise, now let's build a framework actually. So nobody is kind of in that way. Somebody might say that they will just send a promo of that, and then they will say that, okay, this is something you can do that. So that's where actually this coaching will help you, where framework experience, because I always say the automation testing, keep in mind that the tool is not important, the language is even not important as much as the framework is important. Like as so mentioned that you will be getting the projects. Who will give you a project like where somebody is putting a zip file on the publicly and say that, boss, you download this project and then you are done? Even though somebody is putting, like let's say that you will get something on the GitHub or some other repository, how will you understand? Because you know only the bits and pieces. So how you know that where this is triggering and where this is ending? So that
And
is where actually
I'll
the
just
institute will give you.
I'll just
Yeah,
interrupt in that. Even these kind of
sure.
problems we used to generally face. Uh, what
Yeah,
they'll say that I have downloaded projects from Git, I have seen that project, right? And now I know
yeah,
everything. They are self-proclaimed that I know everything. Getting it? And
yeah,
if this kind of thing is there in mind, what happens that that guy, that person is not even willing to learn from anyone. Because
right.
see
Because
what
he
happens,
already satisfied with
right?
his stuff. Yeah,
Right. What happens sometimes if something you don't know, like no, you know that you are not aware with that particular thing. So what you will try to do, you will try to learn that particular thing. But if somewhere you are in dilemma or you are in confusion that I know this, so what will happen if anyone will say that okay, come, I will teach. In that case, what you will say that no, I know it already.
yeah,
So even from the Git, so here I'll just add, Sunil, one small point, that if you are downloading some projects, guys, and you're doing, that is good, you can do it for your practice purpose, but it's not like you can get a number of projects, but how that project is being initiated from the right from the beginning, what sort of thought process is being used in between that, while doing it, what sort of problem you are going to get, right, Sunil? So that is what
troubleshooting is the main.
troubleshooting, which is there, debugging of that tools. So means please elaborate it, Sunil, something more.
Yeah, so I think one point actually I will just add to that. Like all the projects are there, but so again, as I was telling that, how will you understand from the top to bottom, like everything in and out? And then what will happen? See, one thing I can tell, like if I am saying if somebody is learning, let's say that 1 to 10. Now, what happens if I give that? Okay, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 10. It is there. You take that, you kind of by heart actually, instead of understanding that, okay, which one is greater, which one is smaller, and how do I put it into a sequence. So that is where actually most of the people might not be giving it while we will be downloading. Or let's say that I have a big brother or somebody like who is known to me, they might not have all this approach and they might not be telling. And one good thing actually what it happens, I mean one problem what it happens is that how will you know the latest trends? Okay, I got downloaded, but what happens to the second thing? Like let's say that the version got changed. Now if I talk a very small thing like Selenium from 3 version to 4, so now this year actually we are getting 4 version. It's a big change actually. After like 2 to 3 years they are making a big change. How will you know all these things? And let's say that if tomorrow like they will include Git, or let's say that Jenkins, so all these things might not be somebody's explaining. Project is there, but how will I know that which one is the starting point? If any problem is because see, the product which the website or the application which they have used while writing that code might not be applicable for your own product actually. So for that reason, that is the only main point where you have to understand that. So by understanding you will gain the knowledge, and any kind of application that you are getting in your organization or while in practice, you should be in a position to alter that or customize that framework to the need, because these frameworks are not like a written book actually where you will learn that one and then that's it, you will become perfect, because we are not going for a exam or something, right? It is basically
Right.
real time we are going there. So you don't know actually what your organization is giving that. So the same code base we can't copy and then say that, boss, I know only this one, I will be doing in this approach. Not really, that will work. So you have to know the in and out, so that if tomorrow anything happens, you should be in a position to change that code base to your need.
And
Multiple approaches, I can say that.
correct, correct. And one very funny question I must say
Sure.
that, and I have answered it number of times in my videos on YouTube and even in the classroom sessions and something like that. That people will come with a small knowledge of technical or somewhere. So what one mindset is there, that testing is very easy.
Hmm.
Testing is very easy. So rather than going into the development, I want to go into testing. So if you will ask why you want to go in a testing, so in this no coding is required. That is
Right.
one mindset. So I want Sunil you to clear this, that mm, what sort of this mindset is. Please explain something
Sure.
about this also.
I think that funny question has a funny word actually, which I remember. So when we
Right.
were like talking to the developers, so they say, right, like there is always like what do you call, a cold war between the developer and then the testers. Now we
True, true.
always say that a testing like automation testing, I'm focusing on that. Automation
Mhm,
testing is 1.5 development actually. So I
mhm.
always say that may not be like, if you are from a development background, you might not accept this fact, but in a sense it is that actually. Like at the beginning I said that language is the key, and I'm saying it is not easy but not difficult as well. Why? Because what I'm saying is that to an extent you need to have the programming language, and if somebody is telling that there is a tool which is no code tool, like nowadays there are a lot of tools are coming, and they are like what do you call, taking money like lakhs and crores of money actually. Like you, I don't want to name those tools, but they say that there is no code, and anybody, even a project manager, even a product owner, they can just take this tool and then they will do it. Believe me, there is no tool in the market, as with my this much experience, is that no tool is customizable without any knowledge of the code. So that is one point. And why I said that 1.5 development is that testing is okay. Now you learned the coding. Let's say that I mean, again I'm coming to the Java. Core Java I have learned, where all the OOPS concepts and few of the keywords and how to write a function and all those
Collections,
things.
IO
Okay,
package, streams, and all you
exactly.
have learned it. Yeah.
Yes, those things I learned. Now what happened? Okay, I learned even Selenium also. I mean, I joined a course and then I learned. But how will you apply that? So you should be knowing the product experience. That is one of the thing actually. So the product you are testing or you are writing the automation script, you need to understand that product well. Then only product well means end to. So we don't call. So nowadays we don't call actually these are as a automation testing actually, we call it as a end-to-end testing, E to E. So you will see anywhere like in your any of the job profiles, if you see that the requirement is end-to-end testing, not like automation testing, nobody is telling. So the reason is that end-to-end testing means you have to first understand the flow actually, what exactly this application is doing. Then only you will identify few of the scenarios, and those scenarios you will write the automation testing. Now coming to the developer, I'm not like what do you call, dominating myself onto the development, but the one thing is that because development is more complex, because they have to write the code to build that product, they might not be involving into that product. What they do, they will just get the requirement, and instead of they don't want to understand what is the nearby features, they just want to focus, and that is fair actually, because they have to be very much specific to their own product development only. But as a testing, as a automation testing guy, because we do end-to-end testing, they have to understand like why. One quick example I will give. Let's say that now Gmail was there. So everybody knows that Gmail is only meant for the inbox only. They will see the messages, they will send or receive the messages. But what happened? The Gtalk was there. Now Google decided I will embed that into the Gmail actually. So you will see on the left hand side, you will see there is a Gmail chat. Now the thing is that if I give to a developer, what he will do, he don't care about anything. The requirement says get a space on the left hand side and put this chart actually there. So he developed, he was more focusing into that. But now talk to a automation testing. What he need to do? That page was specific to the email conversations only, right? He already would have written all the code base and everything. Now what is happening, there are certain impacts to this existing functionality also. So his old scripts would have got changed. I'm talking bit technical here, just to make people understand that what is that they can gain actually. Like, it is not easy, it is not difficult. Why I said? Because learning product is not a difficult. With the duration like 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, depending on your interest, you can read the documentation, talk to your team lead, talk to your team members, you will gain that product. So that's where I said it is not that difficult. Now coming to the coding language, because it is not going too much into the deep, like I need not to learn the database actually. For this I need not to go to the stored procedures or Java Spring, Java Hibernate, all those things I don't want actually, because my area is spreaded out. So I need to have product knowledge, I need to have the real time experience, and then few of the programming language. So never think that without programming language I can do it. And it is matter of some time, like as we have discussed at the beginning extensively, we have did the conversation is that how will we start actually that. So you will see every time I was mentioning, and Som was also mentioning about the programming language. So it means that keep in your mind that programming is necessary actually, any of the
No,
language, like be
and
it Java or Python.
correct. And in that, what I have seen in past, if the mm, particular candidate is having good knowledge, let's say of the core Java, especially,
Sure. Yeah.
so for them it will be very easy to clear the Selenium based interviews. And
Right.
mostly in the testing requirements, they will be trying to ask the more in the core Java at entry level. I am saying, I'm not talking about that
Right.
if you are going for the high level of experience at all, because that manager or something, that person recruiter, they know that if the guy is good with the Java or Python, so accordingly they can be good in that corresponding implementation of that corresponding Selenium framework or something like that also.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, and anything else from your side, Sunil? So most of the generic questions which is there with the students, we have discussed in this session, and I think if we will discuss more, then this session or this podcast is going to be very long, right?
Right. Yeah.
So based on the guys, whatever the questions you are writing in our comment box or something like that, if you need some special sort of things which you want, you and means you want Sunil and me to do the video on that, or even if you want only Sunil to do the video on that, right? So please do write in the comment box. Accordingly, we will be making more videos. Yeah, we have more technical questions related to this, but yes, Sunil, I think we should cover that all questions in some time in some other videos, right?
Sure. Specific wise. Yeah.
Right. So, thank you very much, Sunil, for giving your time to us and means explaining about the automation tools and manual and making means clearing all the different sort of doubts. Those who are trying to get into the Selenium or those who are on bench, they are trying to come into the project or they're trying to switch the companies, guys. So, yeah. So, thank you again.
No problem. I think this 1 hour of talk, if it is helping to some folks to get out of their comfort zone, and they're pitching into somewhere, and if they're growing in their career, then I think this time will be worth of talking. So no
Right.
problem.
And guys, I'll say to you all, those whoever is listening this, don't hesitate to talk with us, to our counselors,
Exactly.
right? And if you want any sort of personalized suggestions from our side, you connect with our official number. They will arrange a call with us to you personally, and we will try to even understand your problem, and accordingly, we will try to do something for you. And yeah, so thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. And please write your views in the comment box if you want us to make some more this kind of podcast sessions on testing or any other technology. So please do write. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you very much.